Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with The Sopranos. Last time around we had Meadowlands, where basically it was the unfortunate death of Jackie Aprile, the acting boss, and because of that, tensions were high as it was going to be decided who would be the next acting boss. And Tony pretty much went straight to his Uncle Junior and said, you know what? It's time. The Sopranos have been waiting a long time for this, but it should be you. So Junior Soprano is now the acting boss. Tony did get a little bit out of the deal. He got certain things. I don't remember specifically what it was, but he did get something out of the deal. And yeah, so basically this was all from an idea that he got from Dr. Melfi about how to deal with both his uncle and his mother, is let them think they're in charge. So Junior is now, he's the king of kings. He is the boss, but Tony's really making the decisions, and there's a nice clean transition of power and no war, certainly. So yeah, and there was a lot of other stuff that also happened in the episode, but not really a point in recapping it because we all remember. Let's just face it, the whole reason I do these recaps before the episodes is just to wait a minute, basically, before we start the reaction. But there's no point in wasting any more time. Why don't we just jump right into this episode of The Sopranos? Here we go.
Dad, how come you didn't finish college?
I had that semester and a half at Seton Hall.
Yeah, and?
Grandma and Grandpa didn't stress college. They were working class people.
How come your parents were anti-education?
They weren't anti. Can't lay it all off on them. I got into a little trouble when I was a kid.
I heard.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy he's just walking around smoking a cigar.
Are you in the mafia?
Am I in the what?
Whatever you want to call it. Organized crime.
That's total crap. Who told you that?
Dad, I've lived in the house all my life. I've seen
Figured it out.
I'm in the waste management business. Everybody immediately assumes you're mobbed up. It's a stereotype, and it's offensive.
Guess that's that.
And you're the last person I would want to perpetuate it.
Fine.
But now that you mentioned it,
There's
yes.
no mafia.
Yeah. Just don't concern yourself with it.
Some of my money comes from illegal gambling and whatnot. How does that make you feel?
At least you don't keep denying it like Mom.
Meh.
Kids in school think it's actually kind of neat.
Seen The Godfather, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
Look, man, part of my income comes from legitimate businesses.
But yeah.
Stock market,
Look, Dad, please, okay?
No,
Don't
he
start
might not be
mealy-mouthing.
lying about that.
I think I saw an old friend, that's all.
You know that guy at the gas station?
Maybe not. Probably not.
Then
Meh.
what? Dad, slow down!
It's not gonna work.
Bonjour. Room service at REV.
Well, you really let that orange juice go wild.
Why, thank you, kind sir.
Ah, yes. An egg,
What? You said poached eggs.
an egg,
You're not
and
gonna
orange
eat them
juice.
after all that work.
Meh. This is why you need burner phones to be invented.
Thank you. You saw this guy?
That's what I'm saying. I think I did, but I'm not sure.
Up in Maine? What the fuck?
He went into the witness protection program, then they kicked him out. Now he goes to colleges and gets paid all kinds of money to talk about what a big bad mafioso he was.
He was kicked out of witness
He partied
protection.
a couple times, but Jackie Aprile knew him real good. They did a couple of counts together up at Millersburg. As a matter of fact, you know that bus that was in his rec room with Sinatra? Febby made it for him in a prison workshop.
Meh.
Was Frank that bus? I always thought it was Shaquille. Fucking need to practice a little on lips.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, run these plates for me.
Oh, this'll work.
Go ahead.
Who is it? Father Phil.
Just a second.
Oh, the good priest. We haven't seen him in a while. God. Trying to make yourself look good while you're sick? To a priest? God, that thunder's going nuts.
It's an exciting time. I can't tell you how proud I am of you.
Yeah.
A real student at Casa Soprano. And she looks like one of the models right out of Italian Vogue.
Italian, Italian, Italian. Thank you. You're definitely up to something.
Oh, how'd you get so cynical?
In college, nothing interested you?
Nah, I barely got in. Well, kind of liked history.
Yeah?
Hell yeah. Bachelor's degree in history right
Roman
here.
Empire, the Potsdam Conference, that kind of thing.
What's the Potsdam Conference?
Potsdam at the I know now.
Yeah, I get that.
A couple of weeks ago, me and some friends, we were doing speed. We did kind of a lot of it for a while.
You what?
Was this a good idea in a public
Between
place?
homework and
Maybe he won't
SATs,
yell so
just
much if it's in a
general
public
pressure
place.
of life. We needed something to keep going.
That crap will kill you.
I know.
I'd have slapped the shit out of you. Where did you get it?
If I thought this was going to be a lecture, I never would have told you.
Take a reality check. What do you think I'm gonna say?
Nah.
Where did you get it?
No way I'm telling you, especially after this reaction.
Well, why did you tell me?
You were honest with me today.
Yeah.
I won't be doing it again. It got too scared.
I'm glad you told me. In spite of everything.
Glad I did too.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
The chapter on Buddhism is spectacular. But I don't want you going over to those zany zennies.
Fat chance. It's funny, I could never just sit on the floor and think of nothing. Thank you.
Sure. You'll see how Islam has gotten a bad rap in current culture and, like this Chianti, though.
It's about to get a worse rap in about 2 years' time, believe you me.
Yo!
Poor Chris.
Could I impose on you to tell him that I need to reschedule Monday's appointment? I'm down with the flu.
Does he have your number, Jennifer?
Let me give it to you just in case.
I lost my pencil. Up his ass. I'll tell him you called.
Nah.
Why does he have to lie? Why couldn't he tell me his therapist is a woman? What is he hiding?
Maybe he
I-
did tell you,
I
and
mean-
you didn't hear him clearly.
Oh, please.
Here's your Frenay.
Why wouldn't he tell me his therapist is a woman unless he's screwing her?
Carmela, please.
And I thought he was changing. I thought therapy
I
was
mean-
gonna help clear up the fucking freak show in his head.
Carmela. Now, I'm sure you're wrong about them.
Here's the problem.
Therapy is a start.
It's not his therapist, but this is an interesting episode. Kind of like, I don't know, there's something about this is like separate from the rest of the show.
These red pepper flakes really make all the difference. Spicy.
Good as Willem Dafoe was, I cannot picture that Jesus looked like him.
Could you pass a cheese?
What? Did I miss
Not that
something?
He didn't do a good job, Willem Dafoe, but the story's confusing. So he gets down off the cross?
You know, originally Bobby D was supposed to have that role.
Really? Oof. Different picture.
So wait, Willem Dafoe was Jesus in a movie? I gotta see this.
If you take everything Jesus ever said, add it up, it only amounts to 2 hours of talk.
No. No, but wait, I heard the same thing about the Beatles. Except it was if you add up all their songs, it only comes to 10 hours.
Okay, that's a very specific thing to know
Yes.
about the Beatles.
Of course, it wasn't just what Christ said. I mean, it was his deeds.
That's my question.
Well, it's not like they recorded everything he ever said in his life.
I don't get it.
Assuming.
Like the sun rises on the just and the unjust alike? Why?
Because Christ was saying
'Cause it's
that
a
we're all-
Did whores
Ball
go to
of
heaven
gas.
for a lot of the righteous?
It's about love. Think about it like that.
What does that mean?
It means hopefully someday we will learn to tolerate, accept, and forgive those that are different.
You know, it's weird. I saw this same conversation on Vinland Saga a couple weeks ago. The fucking shots in this episode are like through the roof. From Buster Reagan. He does need to work on the lips.
Hello, Red.
What's in that book? Come on, let me see.
Boy,
Are
AJ
you
just
protecting me? Is that what you're
fucked
doing?
off completely. He did not come back in an hour.
Would I be shocked? Let me see it.
Is that Anthony Head? Hell yeah, I love Anthony Head. Or is that Anthony Hopkins?
Mother, turn it off, Ricky.
How long has it been since you last confessed?
Hmm.
If you like, I can do this with you.
You mean right here, Father, now?
Meh.
The whole world is God's house.
Allowing what I know is evil in my house. Allowing my children, oh my God, my sweet children, to be a part of it. Because I wanted things for them. I wanted a better life, good schools. I wanted this house. Wanted money in my hands.
She's feeling guilty for what Tony does. Come on, you're not gonna do it while he's got his daughter.
Not mad, are you, Daddy?
Little bit.
I gave them to you.
Supposed to be.
I love you, Daddy.
You know, there's other people here.
And in the future, you must renounce all these actions, and then God will absolve you.
I don't know, Father, I'll try.
Do or do not.
But I still love
There
him.
is no try.
Why do you have that with you?
Unfortunately, I had to say mass for someone in intensive care.
Boy, Catholics have
Worthy to receive
pizzazz. I don't think anyone's ever said that before. Ooh, there's some wafers. Is that holy water in the wine? I'm assuming it's wine. Maybe it might just be grape juice. You must choose.
is the
But choose
blood of
wisely.
Christ.
I booked a seat on a Boston flight tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Best I could get.
Don't come.
Bugat's don't come. I'll make sure you and Meadow clear the state before anything happens. We don't ever meet face to face.
This is my thing.
I am your soldier, Antonio. This is my duty, like we're always talking about.
The way this went down, this is my call. I gotta vouch for this myself.
All right.
Are you all right?
What happened to him? Shouldn't have had that holy water. He's a vampire. Well, that shuts down sexy time, doesn't it?
I was just thinking about when we watched Casablanca last week.
And that new print is great, huh?
You know when Bogey says, of all the lousy gin joints in the world, why'd you have to pick mine? Of all the Fanuc priests in the world, why did I have to get the one who's straight?
Carmela.
Come on, it's a joke.
So he, like, forced himself to throw up? Jeez.
An hour out of town, you pull up alongside, boom, 12 gauge.
Fuck that.
Lon, you do what I ask, so you'll never get another bag off me.
He's hiring junkie assassins?
No. Fuck that. Fuck that. I want the cops to find out who burnt down the historical house.
Fuck you,
Huh?
fuckwad!
Yeah, good for Lon. If he shoots you from... from behind the... Is Tony a ninja? What's happening? Just a deer. Oh! Not just a deer.
You know, one thing about us wise guys, the hustle never ends. You shot me at that motel, your life would have been flushed on a piece of dude.
Please, Tony, I'm begging.
Jimmy says hello from hell, you fucker.
Ducks. Meh.
Dad, what's up with that?
Oh, the restaurant. I tried the back door. There were puddles. It was dumb, I know.
In your hands?
Dad, you're being honest with me, right?
Pretty soon here, you're gonna start hurting my feelings.
We have that kind of relationship, you said.
That's right.
Yeah.
We do or we don't.
And you
Takes
don't.
two to tango.
Like the
I
ducks.
love you.
She's gonna fly away.
I love you too.
Meh.
The priest spent the night here. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
And you're telling me this because...
You might hear something. Take it the wrong way. His car was out front all night.
You know what? This is too fucked up for me even to think about.
Meh. That's too fucked up for him.
Well, Carmela, the guy spends the night here with you. And all he does is slip you a wafer?
It's verging on sacrilege.
Oh, I didn't mean to verge.
What, you think I'm lying?
I don't know, but...
I don't think you're truthing.
Would I... Oh, by the way, your therapist called. Jennifer?
Tom. I just thought you'd think it was weird if I saw a woman psychiatrist, that's all. Tom, come on! It's just therapy, that's all. We just talk.
Oh, boy. Oh, okay. Jiminy, man. What an episode. That was interesting. That was, Oh. Excuse me while I stretch for a second, though. Oh. Well, you keep your body in one position for an entire hour, suddenly it starts to ache. Alright, well, you guys know how this goes by now, hopefully, is that you gotta give me a minute and my mind will start running and I'll be able to accurately discuss this episode. But initial thoughts? Interesting. Very limited cast. Like, I was almost thinking, like, could this be, like... an episode to conserve budget, but considering the locations they had to go to, I don't think so. And they still had a decent amount of the actors, you know? I mean, but at the same time, this is the first episode without a therapy session. There's just none. We do still get to see Dr. Melfi, but yeah, no therapy session this episode. No Junior, no Livia. The only person we really get to see in Tony's crew is Chris. Poor man stood out in the rain. Barely see AJ, we do see Meadow. A lot of Carm, a lot of Tony. As well as guest actors for Fabian. I don't know, it's an interesting one. Like, it's... I mean, especially, too, as a follow-up from last episode, which, you know, had the whole thing of AJ realizing that Tony is, you know, within the mafia, you know, or the gangs. He's a mafioso. It's just like part 5. But having that, and then following that up with Meadow, basically having it confirmed, you know? Which, again, you know, it's interesting because, you know, with Meadow, you know, we've had her saying before, like, you know, I can't wait to get out of here. Now, she said... Now, maybe this was because of... because it was episode 1. But I think originally she said that her and Hunter were going to try to go to, like... LA or the West Coast, basically, and she says, like, oh, I can't wait to get as far away from New Jersey as possible. So having that change now that they're up in Maine is very interesting. Yeah. I mean, I guess, they pretty much highlight what the message or the theming of this episode is at the end there. It's the masks, I mean, everyone wears a mask. Everyone wears a mask. It's just, can you keep that mask up, I mean, even to an extent, even if it's something simple, like not everyone has a mask that's, as out there as Tony, but I mean, like, you could even just say this for me is kind of my mask, is this channel that I have, which I don't want to say that to make it sound like, oh, all the thoughts he has in these videos are disingenuous. They are genuine, but it's like the me that's in these videos is different from the me that's outside of the videos, and you could even argue that for Tony the thing is, I suppose for Tony the mask is, well, it's like the old Batman question of, which one is the mask? Is it Batman or is it Bruce Wayne? And with Tony, you could kind of make the same argument, like which one is the real Tony Soprano? Is it the gangster or the waste management boss, And the thing is, you could honestly say, like, because I feel like there are sort of arguments. I mean, it's kind of hard to have an argument of, the mask he puts on is the gangster, really. But it's definitely a thing of, like, I mean, for Tony, there's no mask. It's just him, But in this episode, it very clearly shows. I mean, I think this clearly shows that Tony the gangster is the real Tony, and the mask he puts on is the mask for his family, and especially for his kids, that he puts up, that he's constantly lying, even though he's, they have this honest relationship, he still lies about, going and killing a man, So that's the thing. And Meadow, if anything, Meadow's, avoiding the mask. That's why she was honest about it. Why she was honest about the speed, even though, yes, it was difficult for him to, he was starting to get mad about it. It did resolve very well, where it's like, look, you were honest with me, so I'm being honest with you. And, she does admit, and I think he believes that it's, that she's not going to take it again because it's starting to get scary. It's a similar thing, like, my parents don't have to worry about me taking drugs because I have asthma, so, like, I literally am not going to be able to smoke anything, so. Also, I just can't afford it. I can't afford it, and I'm too old for that shit now, so I've never done drugs, and I don't think I'm ever going to, so, anywho. But yeah, so she's kind of taking the mask off, She just wants to be, Meadow Soprano, upstanding student, basically. And even if that's, even if upstanding citizen, I suppose, is not part of Tony, she wants him to be honest. She wants him to take the mask off, And he just cannot bring himself to do it, Because he cannot be open about that with her, And I mean, you could even say, like, okay, when is the closest, aside from, when he's talking to Chris or, Junior or Polly or Silvio or, any of the guys, when is the closest to him not having the mask on? Like, does he have the mask on with Carmela? And to an extent, I'd say yes. Even though she knows things, I would say he still has the mask on. He definitely, he still has the mask on when he talks to Dr. Melfi. But even still, like, he tries to, I mean, he's trying therapy. He's trying to make it work, you know? But even still, you could even say it's like, well, while he doesn't have the same mask that he has for his children with Carmilla, he still has a specific mask for her, you know? The one that, you know, is sleeping with some, you know, Russian floozy, basically, you know? So there's that, too. So yeah, and then there's the mask that, Carmilla has to wear, that, you know, she wears this mask of, I don't know, like I almost can't quantify it into words, but, you know, her mask that basically slipped in that moment of confession, you know, where she does feel this guilt, this shame for everything that her husband does, but at the same time, you know, she sort of selfishly wanted these things, you know? She wanted to live a good life. She wants her children to go to great schools, and she wants the money to buy things. She wants this big, beautiful house. She wants all of this, and thus has allowed herself to give into this, give into what her husband is for, you know, probably, near 20 years, you know? And so she confesses that. She confesses her guilt, you know? She confesses her guilt, and probably, I would say half of that guilt is she probably does want to sleep with that priest. But then, I mean, good on him for making himself sick, you know? He was tested, and he shut it down, basically, and that, I think that did help her, where she kind of looked at that and was like, oh, I don't need to be doing this, you know? I don't need to be doing this, so. And it's interesting, because it's like, yeah, it's like she's not overly mad or anything about it, you know? The next morning, she's just like, hey, you know, we're friends, we can still be friends, it's okay, nothing happened, and that's that, you know? Like, that's not going to be a thing that, like that didn't hurt her, basically. If anything, that might have been a wake-up call for her to not do that, you know, to not, if anything, maybe, like, to not stoop to Tony's level, in that regard, at least, you know? So, yeah, so, all in all, like, it's such an interesting thing, you know? And having that, you know, having the whole question of the mask, what's everyone's mask and everything, and pushing that to its limits with, you know, Meadow asking and them being honest about it, and then immediately presenting Tony a problem that, you know, he wants to go and kill this guy who ratted on them 12 years ago. So him going and doing that, but then, you know, the after effect of that being having to lie to Meadow now. So yeah, so that stuff is really, really interesting, man. Really, really damn interesting. And there's even, you could even say, like, tiny mask, like why Tony didn't tell Carmilla that he was seeing a female therapist, you know? And now, I mean, it's exactly the same way of, you know, where Carmilla was honest about, you know, hey, the priest was over here last night, AJ was at his friend's house, but nothing happened, you know? And Tony's having such a hard time believing that, and, you know, her saying, like, I'm telling you this because I don't want you to hear something and take it the wrong way. I want you to know what actually happened. And he still starts to take it the wrong way. And I like she even admits, you know, why would I tell you this? Why would I tell you this up front if it was so shameful, you know? And then the exact opposite situation happens where, you know, she exposes that, you know, that he sees a female therapist, and now she's taken it the wrong way. And even with him trying to say, you know, oh, it's just therapy, we're just talking, you know, she takes it the wrong way in exactly the thing that she prevented him from doing, you know, with the whole situation about the priest, you know? So that's an interesting thing. It's the little masks, you know? It's the little masks, and Carmilla, seems to have taken her mask off, to an extent, at least for a little bit, when she was confessing and when she was, again, another confession, telling Tony about the priest, So that's the thing. It's like she has been able to take her mask off, whereas Tony still is, kind of shackled down by his, So, but what does this mean? Where will this go? Of like, how will this become more of an issue, if it will? Again, we kind of joked about it a little bit in the first episode, but this honestly, again, it does seem like a slice of life show where it's like there's not technically a through line plot of this show. It really is just things that are happening in the lives of the Sopranos, basically, where especially with this episode not having Junior, not having pretty much any of Tony's gang except for Chris, who only appeared on a phone call, basically, didn't have his mother, didn't have any therapy sessions. It's just it was basically this particular night in the lives of Tony and Carmela Soprano, So that's just a really interesting thing. So I'm curious, it's like, will this come up again? Especially with, Tony's mask that he has for his kids, the mask that he wears for his kids of Tony Soprano, works in waste management, as opposed to Tony Soprano, the gangster, So I don't know. Will this come up again? I mean, I hope it does come up again. I'm sure it will come up again to some extent, but I like it. I really like it, especially too because like the last couple episodes though, like I did kind of think like, okay, so because we had a lot of Meadow in the first episode, and then we didn't really have a lot of her. She's here and there, but this one having a lot of time dedicated to Meadow and her relationship with her father is really, really interesting. So yeah, really, really good stuff. Once again, just got to get my motor running. I'm exactly like an old lawnmower. You just got to do it. You do it like one or two more times, and then there you go, and now you can mow your lawn. That's exactly how my mind works after these videos. So yeah, really, really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Sopranos reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.